Right, welcome to me and ADHD podcast. Today's guest is public speaker on neurodiversity, ADHD advocate, content creator, the chase contestant, and now I know, music creator, Jack Ellis. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you very much for having me, Darren. Love it. Appreciate you having me.
No problem at all. No problem at all. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thanks for
I was like I just said to you a second ago, I've got all these questions all sorted for you, and I've just found out about the music on Spotify, and I just want to talk about the music, but I can't because I'm not prepared, and I will completely lose my way in the conversation. So I will try and stay on track as much as I can.
No problem.
But I will say this one thing though: I love it when you're not here.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
hey, thank you for saying that. Yeah.
That's right. That's going to dig at you, Jack.
What's funny is that out of context is you're just imagine that being cut as the clickbait. I love it when you're not here. And that's the end of the call.
This is it. For those of you who don't know, that is actually one of the title tracks on Spotify that Jack's got, and it's really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
Appreciate that, mate. Are you into music yourself? Then are you a big fan? I'm hearing.
I do like music. I don't listen to it as much as I used to, but I do like the dance stuff, but I do like calming kind of music. I like a good voice. I love the Motown era of music. But anything with a good voice, anything with good melody, and when it's got sort of words that resonate with me as well.
Yeah.
Which that one does.
Yeah.
It's really hard, so it's,
yeah,
I do like it.
Just explain on that one, like for anyone listening, like the song's called I Love It When You're Not Here because it's a love letter to anxiety. And I thought it'd be quite, I'm an anxious person always have been. And I love it when anxiety is not present for those short times, those random times, which I still can't put my finger on why and how. So my wife and I wrote this song and sing it together on Spotify, as you can hear. I also did a track called Be By My Side, which was inspired by World Suicide Prevention Day. And that was, a fun project, putting that together, properly producing it. That's all around just simply not necessarily giving me the answers or trying to fix me, but being there in my darkest moment. And I think people can relate to that. And then there's a couple of other tracks as well, like Busy Mind. And then, the dance stuff's come right back. I love my trance and EDM. So I put 3 tracks out recently: Propeller, Ghosts, and Think. And it's just, you can see the inspiration there. I love it. I love producing and learning new stuff. It's great for our brains, isn't it? And I just love it.
Oh, brilliant. Well done to you. Busy guy.
A busy body.
So just a little sum up really of what's life like before your diagnosis. So what was going on?
Yeah, I'm 42. I was 42 on Monday, actually. Just plug that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I was 36 when I was diagnosed. So still fairly recent. And before I was diagnosed, I grew up in a single parent home, quite chaotic, around lots of early exposure to things like drugs and alcohol and sex and pornography and horror movies and quite colourful characters. Some of it was really fun and some of it was exciting. Excuse my cough, by the way.
That's okay.
I know in editing it's annoying when you're talking and there's a huge cough in between a sentence. So there's a lot of characters at home, and I liked being the centre of attention sometimes with that. But as I got a bit older, I realised the toll a lot of that took on me. And actually, having kids myself now, I'm so glad to be having an opposite home to that life of structure and predictability at times, routine, safety. So I really should have got some water. Sorry. Why does that happen when you start talking? So annoying. Anyway, so then that life caused me to, I think, with all that early exposure and knowing now I had ADHD, which didn't even know what it was at the time. I was in and out of classrooms. Teachers wouldn't have me in the classroom. Friends would mock me for my, just not being able to sit still. So I was teased a lot, that sort of thing, ostracized from friend groups. Then my dad's like an entrepreneur, like a working class lad who did good and earned quite a bit of money, and decided out of his 6 kids, he put me in private school. So I went to private school straight after primary school, and I had this amazing experience of being in a routine and disciplinary environment, safe,
Yeah.
and because I'm a bright kid, but at the time I'm thinking I'm stupid and not worth anything, right? And then unfortunately, after sort of 2.5 years of that, the decision was made by my parents that they couldn't, for whatever reason, afford to keep it going, and the decision was made to put me home. But none of that was really explained to me. And at that formative age, I got all the way home one weekend and was told I was never going back. So that pretty much destroyed me, because I couldn't see any of the friends that I'd made in my formative years. And when I think about my kids now and the friends they're making, and they're going off to secondary school and things like that, it breaks my heart again, And
Yeah.
it really wasn't the greatest time for me. So again, now everyone knows what ADHD is, and now I know what it is. It's obvious. You can probably see what's coming next. So in chaos, back into chaos, feeling very unloved, feeling lonely, incredibly lonely. I um I gave up on school. Was bullied at that school I went to, and I was dumped in after that. Started taking drugs. Started getting in the wrong crowd. um, yeah, got involved with local crime. Just I was in like staying out late at night on school nights. Didn't have any parent calling me saying, "Where the fuck are you? Get home." None of that discipline, and I was incredibly lost. I was arrested a few times. I took every drug there was, and then when I was like 18, 19, I had a bit of a family intervention. And at the time, that was from the other side of my cousin's side, and there it was actually it was actually a religion that I was taken to church, and I decided that was what I was going to do for a while. As of now, like, and for a few years now, I've been happily agnostic, but at the time, I see what it was, and I really respect it. It was a family intervention. I was literally picked off the floor in a bit of a comatose drug state on Christmas Eve, 2000.
Right.
This was, so going back a bit now, and yeah, after that, sort of started to changed my friend group, and I met my now wife Liz, who've been together that long, and she's been amazing for me. It's a total opposite to me. You can imagine how suspicious her parents were at first, but we've just got a great friendship, and she's a great support to me. And so this is the interesting bits, right? So I thought I was fixed and saved or whatever, and mended and away from all that, and I thought it was my nurture and not my nature that was the problem.
Yeah.
And so the problems got worse because I've been successful in my career. I fell into my job by total accident. I'm quite good at, sales and talking, all that sort of stuff. So I just use my strengths. I've got no qualifications. So I left school at 15. Um, and yeah, like, built a successful career, and then had kids and got married. Right. So I thought I'm there. And that's where the biggest worry for me happened, because I felt utterly depressed and empty and hollow, even though I had everything that a lot of people want in life. And I know, and I am so grateful for and happy for, by the way. But that's the pressure when you feel like you've got all the conventional needs. So I was also in an incredibly exciting career where you go out drinking with clients and go to the pub every day or whatever you want. If you want, it's that sort of thing. So I got back into drugs, and after 10 years absence, and it just all spiraled. I was drinking till I blacked out. I would end up in the middle of nowhere. I felt suicidal a few times. I couldn't marry up the fact that I was so lucky and so fortunate to have this life, that everyone seemed to want, and yet I was lost inside. And yeah, cocaine again. This is no surprise now, but it became, like a coping tool. And if you don't mind, I'm going to go on to your question around, like the diagnosis moment as well. So I think that
Yeah.
leads.
You go for it.
So but essentially heading for this second, I would call, major crisis in my life. And it was like 2019. I was in a panic attacks every day, completely desperate state. I was again doing well in my job, but I now was at the point where, for the first time pretty much ever, I was going to have to take some sick time off for my mental health, which I'd never done. I'd always fought through it. Probably not a great idea in hindsight, but um, it was like fear and adrenaline driving me, and like a no one's coming to help me sort of mentality. And so with all that, and the cocktail of alcohol and drugs, and the cocktail of going up and down on different antidepressants that I was wrongly diagnosed, anxiety and depressed only, I was in real crisis, and I remember I always talk about this girl I worked with called Laura Andrews at Haymarket at the time. Who, shout out to Laura? She's like an angel. I describe her as an angel on the ground because she was a mental health first aider, but I don't think that doesn't even nearly explain the whole picture. She's just someone who cares, and she's also our HR business partner at the time, and she saw how
Okay.
desperate I was, and I was already going through now. Finally, the NHS was seeing all my records and all my history and misdiagnosis, and finally assessing me for ADHD. And it wasn't until Laura got hold of me and was like, she actually cried with me at one point. That's how real she is. Um, she could see I was a hollow state of a person. I was literally wasting away. I was panicking about everything. And she was like, whatever it takes, I'm going to get you in front of a psychiatrist. If it's not this week, it'll be next week. And I was like, yeah, but the business insurance. She's like, fuck that. We're going to get you in front of someone. And she did. And that's where I got diagnosed on the spot pretty much. They looked at my history, my records, the medication I was on, everything down to the birth. And yeah, they look at all of it, don't they? And it was like, yeah, you've got ADHD so clearly. So then the plan began of coming off antidepressants, which was a miserable withdrawal. And I started taking Elvance, that lisdexamphetamine slow release. And yeah, life. I've had to stop trying to improve. That's the biggest change, right? People sometimes talk about the noise. Some people talk about like the control, the impulse control. For me, it's like I had to stop. Instead of going, right, I'm never drinking again, or I'm never doing drugs again, or I'm never going to eat myself to death again, like binge eating or whatever, or spend a load of money. I didn't have to try so hard. It's like I felt the new normal. And
Yeah.
that's what's been a
Yeah.
huge relief for me and my family.
It can make a massive difference. There's always this talk about, why get diagnosed? Why do you need to and stuff like that? Because it gives you the answers. It gives you help. It gives you what you need to live your life. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The understanding of what's going on. You
Yeah,
can't go through a life struggling and not know why.
exactly. And I don't know about you, but the noise up to that point had all been, don't put yourself in a box, labels are too easy, medication's just the easy way out. So unhelpful for people like ADHDers, because a label is what saved me and gave me clarity. Medication is what helped me reach what a lot of people would call their normal. So forgive me for not for being fucking glad I learnt that and not listening to all that bullshit. Because actually, for some people, those labels are very like crucial to understanding and being able to explain to those in care of you what's going on. It's like there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balanced conversation around medication and labeling, rather than just,
Yeah,
yeah, I understand that argument, but there was no noise the other side about the other argument.
yeah. People say that to me a lot, and I'm like, no, I mean, if you want to call it a label, fine, let's call it a label. But I prefer my label now to the labels I had before.
Great point.
And the labels I had before were not helping me.
Great point.
Stupid, lazy,
Yeah.
not good enough.
Yes.
God, not good enough is thrown around so much.
Yeah.
I was always the issue.
Yeah. Exactly. I was all exactly, mate. Well said, Darren.
So, I prefer my label now, but it gives me understanding. I mean, I don't care about ADHD. I don't like it. It's nothing. I hate it. I
Yeah.
want it gone. However, it is me, and I've got to deal with it. And like the medication, brilliant for me.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not perfect. You have to put all the strategies in place.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to fall flat on your face. But it gives you the clarity to think about the strategies, to put the right ones in place,
Totally.
to carry on with them.
Yeah.
I can't imagine me putting the strategies I've got now in place as I do now without the medication.
100%. And it's
Yeah.
but it takes it. You and I are still worryingly, I find, a minority in being able to have the confidence to sort of forget those sort of other people's fear and insecurities around that is what causes us to go, well, maybe our second question it all. It's like, no, go and get assessed if you can and work this journey out for yourself. And if anything, shut the noise out for a bit whilst you find your own path. And if you come out the other side and your closest friends can't even accept that, that's not because you're wrong. It's because of their own issue. Like
Yeah.
it's sad and it's difficult, but your friends and your family don't define you. It's like your own path. And that's what's been so, you know, stopping a lot of people get assessed. It's like, oh, everyone keeps telling me it's just my character, my personality. Well, is it when you're having a panic attack in the middle of the night, or you can't seem to just turn up to a meeting on time, or you can't get your addiction under control? Is it just a label? Maybe medication will actually help you. And maybe a label will actually give you a lens to look back at your life at. It makes so much sense, so you can move forward. It's like, let's have a balanced argument.
Yeah. If you're struggling, no matter what you're struggling with or why, if you're struggling, you need the help, you need support to stop the struggle, or to get through it, no matter what it is in life. You can't just struggle, be it in relationships, be it in work, be it in finance, be it, homeless, be it drugs, be it whatever it is. If you're struggling, you need the support, you need the answers, you need the help, you need, a way forward.
Yeah.
And you can't do that without some sort of understanding of what's going on, and then work with it. But it's just sometimes I talk to people and it's just irritating what they say. It's like, oh man, it's just, we're back in the 1970s, 80s.
Well, we're sensitive, and we want people's approval more often than not, and we also hear a lot more negative comments than not. So it's a cocktail and it's a mess. So we have to be really careful, isn't it? Like the filter, we have to have an extra filter, I think. So, on social media, like maybe not at night, that sort of thing. All those little practical points, probably for another day, this chat. But just protect yourself while you're trying to heal and figure yourself out. It's so many late adults, late diagnosed adults coming to me like going, what you just said is a mirror of my mind, but all my friends and family. It's like, well, fucking ding them off for 10 weeks while you go through this assessment and figure things out for yourself. Go and live on the top of a hill if you have to cut the noise out so you can figure it out for you, because they may not understand. And unfortunately, we all do it. When we don't understand, we sort of skeptical, we all do it, don't we? The skepticism, the cynicism, it comes in. So I don't know, if I didn't understand something and I was being a bit cynical or not forthcoming with encouragement, I'd want the person exploring that to get away from me. Let's be real, like, go and figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing I've learned in life. I mean, our son, he's 9 and he's ADHD.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like where my journey sort of began as well, because I was struggling massively.
Yeah.
But what I've found out in my fight to get him support through school and everything, because like everybody else, I was like, people telling me what to do and telling me how it is and telling me we're wrong and all this, and it's always our fault, and it's just you get punched down all the time. I got to the point where now I don't give a shit what other people say about me or our son. No one tells me what to do now in regarding to our help, our support. I go through a lot of abuse to get to that stage, but that's the stage where I am at the moment now. So but I try to look at everyone as much as possible with curiosity, because everyone's got a story, you just don't know it yet.
Yeah, and we are naturally curious people, I find, as well, and all of that gets shut down because you're being, again, more labels come in. It's like, that's what I love about these podcasts. We've done quite a few of them now, and it's just great to meet kindred spirits, firstly, and we've all got a very similar backstory. It needs to change for our kids, because I've got 3 daughters, one of which diagnosed as well, and it needs to change, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, so when you got diagnosed, what changed after that for you? What was, was a little spark? Did you go through, a lot of people go through this denial sort of stage, or this kind of grieving stage as well? What kind of hit you?
No, so I feel like ADHD was the worst kept secret with me. I'd already had quite a lot of increasing exploration by the NHS, because they started taking it seriously up to that crisis point. So when I got told ADHD, I didn't have any of that relief or shock or surprise or any reaction at all. It was like, fucking finally, like, now I've got a diagnosis, that helpful label, I can now move forward. So the plan was to come off antidepressants, because they were just making me go into mania and giving in my addictions even easier, and just the wrong drug for me at the time. So I planned to come off that, start Elvance, did all the overthinking that everyone does when they start these things. Am I going to change as a person? Is it like taking cocaine? Am I going to be high as a kite? And it's like all that, necessary but unnecessary overthinking you do. And so, yeah, I realized what it's like to just feel that fresh air in your lungs and feel quite stable. Um, and then my career, I got back on track, the best thing for me actually was the self awareness and be able to explain to those who I work with, those who I work for, obviously my family first and foremost, but that's a very intimate journey we go through with all that. Friends around me, um, people that are important that in my life, and that's it really. And then there's so that self awareness and space. So in the early days when I started taking Elvance, I didn't eat for ages. It really stopped my appetite. um, and people, because I was vocal about it, would be caringly going, "Have you eaten today?" And things like that. And it was lovely having people on the journey like that. I think little moments of micro kindnesses, if you like. Had a really great boss, Chris Haymarket, Chris Daniels. Shout out Chris, a very sensitive guy, very helpful, always there for me, listening to me at the time. Love him for that. And then our MD also interviewed me, and that's where I started to realise that I can use this motor mouth of mine for good, I suppose. Rachel Thrasher again. Shout out to Haymarket because they were really great with me. There's really lovely people there. Really, really super people. And a colleague of mine, Claire Groves, and I started the first neurodiversity employee resource group at the time there as well, which I've been proud to be involved of since then in various guises. So, I just use my, I think, natural talking skills to just talk about my journey, explain it all. All those videos are still out there in the internet somewhere. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and you can see that sort of and that sort of helped me in my journey to explain and make it public. And now it's great because being a sort of micro influencer in this space and being in a popular industry like advertising where everyone seems to know each other, it's great. I love the conversations where people come up to me in the pub and talk about, I hear some stories that are incredibly personal, and I don't ask for them, but I take them with great, pride and confidentiality and extreme, you know, joy that someone feels they can share that with me, and hopefully it might make the difference of them feeling a bit more normal or whatever the term is to go and get assessed or not feel like they have to hide anymore. That sort of stuff. That's the best joy about it. But me personally, it was getting a hold of my addictions and not having to try that hard because I finally had my dopamine boosters and things like that.
That's a good phrase you keep on saying. You don't have to try so hard.
Yeah,
because it's very, very true. That's what I found as well. Is that there's things, like I said, it's not perfect, doesn't do everything,
yeah,
but I how much the effort I used to put in to try just to be functional
yeah,
was just so much, and now it's just a lot of effort now, rather than an extreme amount of effort.
yeah, yeah.
Things are easier to do, things are easier to cope with. I can go longer before I get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But if I'm on it, because of the medication, because my head is calmer and a bit slower, I can think more logically about what I need to do to avoid things and to help myself, rather than just being a complete mess all the time, just running into that.
I find it refreshing the way you talk about this as well, because we don't, again, in the interest of balance, we need to be here. I think we need to be hearing more about how it's very difficult having ADHD, and that medication it doesn't make you perfect, and that there are other side effects. But a lot of people are, saying it's my superpower. I don't kind of agree with that line, and I actually find it still have problems, of course, because I have, perhaps a development deficiency or whatever you want to call it. It is difficult most days, but it's much less difficult. I think that's a great, realistic and less false hope, type of statement about it, because we're not trying to say, there's a lot of relief and in understanding yourself and a lot more tools you can put in place, but it doesn't fix everything overnight, of course. And I still have side effects from the medication, like tense muscles quite a lot. But I think that's also my anxiety. It's a bit of both. I just like to have a balanced opinion. So I love what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people now that it's unfortunately where you get most of your information when it comes to ADHD or neurodiversity is social media, because there's nowhere else to kind of find. You go to social media first of all, and then work your way to the best places.
Yeah.
But the one thing, do not listen to social media. is about medication, because you generally find it's either that, oh, I've taken my first pill, and like half an hour later, I've got a clear head, and the world is great, and I'm fantastic, and life is
Yeah.
better again,
Yeah.
which does not help to kind of like manage your expectations at all on medication.
Right. Right.
Or you get the flip side, where it's, oh, you shouldn't take this medication, it's a stimulant, and it's going to do this to you, and it's going to stunt your growth, and it's going to, and it's like, no. So speak to the people who are actually going to prescribe it. The people who are assessing you, they're the people in the know. Get the information kind of like from them,
And what I always say as well, if for anyone listening to this and going, well, I'm about to embark on medication for the first time, and by the way, it took me years to get the diagnosis. Then even after that, doctors were still skeptical and putting blockers in place for me to even get that medication. So it's no wonder folks give up and go back to drugs or just go, oh, fuck it, I can't get any help. But I want to give whoever's listening to this about worrying if they've actually got the medication in their hand. Let's say it's Elvance or Vyvanse if you're in America, and you're about to try your first pill. Like Darren's just said, it is rarely. I want to give you an underwhelming. I want to take the excitement out of it for you because it won't be that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. Your personality won't change. Your life won't have wholesale differences the minute after you've taken one of these pills. It's let's just take all the heat out of it, right? It looks like that, right? You can take up to 70 mils a day. All about your psychiatrist, by the way. I'm only sharing my experience, not in any way a direction. You should always listen to your psychiatrist, of course. You won't even get these without them. But here's my experience. You take one of these, and about an hour later, it's like, I feel a bit more awake, perhaps less foggy, perhaps a bit more grounded. Same things I'm thinking about an hour ago, but maybe I can focus a bit better. Let's just take the excitement out of it, because I think I'm getting a lot of messages going, it's going to change everything. No, sorry to say, it ain't. It's nothing like a recreational drug, put it that way.
Yeah. And when you're on your titration, you start on a lower dose. So I was on methylphenidate to begin with.
Yeah.
So I started off sort of quite low, nothing, and then a couple of weeks later went up again, nothing, and then a couple of weeks later went up again, nothing, and then the last time it went up, now I can start to feel things now. But me, I don't know whether it's because I'm a large guy or not. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I've heard loads of different science on that. But again, it's down to the person, isn't it? Like titration was a bit of a messy time and it's quite expensive. But at the same time, it's like methylphenidate, otherwise known as Ritalin, right? It caused me to be ratty, and it's just too short-lived for me. So that it worked for me to have Elvance, and everyone's different, aren't they?
No, absolutely, yeah. I stopped Ritalin about 9 months because it kind of stopped working. But out of the higher dose, I couldn't go any higher. So I had to change. So I'm on dexamphetamine.
Yeah, now, which is basically a release version of what I'm taking, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's kind of like where the Ritalin, I was getting 2 to 3 hours tops of noticeable difference.
Yeah,
for me,
it's quite short-lived.
Yeah. But with the dexamphetamines, although it's still sort of immediate release, I'm getting a good 5 hours. So I only take it twice a day.
And this will be about 7 or 8 hours because it's slow release. It's exactly what we're saying is in line with what the medication says it does.
Yeah, so it's good. So I take that first thing in the morning, then sort of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Any later than 3 o'clock, then I'm not going to be sleeping.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like some people have been known to sleep really well on medication because, again, it just brings them up to a new normal rather than over. Like it's not like having a coffee, for example. Some people, like I can't have caffeine after, but yet I've slept on medication before. It's a weird one. But here's another thing as well for anyone listening who's like, I always get this one. I don't know if you've heard it. It's like, what? So at the weekend, if I don't want to take it, I don't have to take it. It's like, you might just find your weekends are better with it. But if you feel that that's a safe, controlling start, then you do you. I totally get it. I was there as well in the same position of it's going to change me. Can I drive? Can I do it? It's like, yes, it's the idea is it brings you up to a new normal. And it's not like SSRIs or antidepressants where it takes weeks to build up. You'll know within an hour or two if this is hitting you. Like Darren's just explained with Ritalin, it's like this is like and if you don't like it and if it makes you anxious, it'll wear off. that day. So, it's like, and again, I'm just talking about my experience and also regurgitating what lots of psychiatrists have told me. You might be that one rare occasion where none of that has happened, or you've had a totally different experience. Obviously, I can't explain that. But most cases I've come across in my public speaking world, not medication or professional, is it's quite underwhelming, actually. It's just a nice, helpful prop support.
Yeah. And that's where we got to manage expectations, because it's not. I went into it thinking, yes, I've got to take medication. I need to take medication. I'm glad I did, and it's working. However, it's not everything. You have to put all the other sort of strategies in place,
Yeah, and
to help you.
strategy is a word that people with ADHD sometimes hate. And just to be clear on that, you'll have better executive function. That's the idea, to be able to put those strategies in place. It's not like you're all out there on your own. Like, oh God, that feels overwhelming. But I tell you, the best thing for me hasn't been the medication was important, diagnosis important. It's the self-awareness. Now at home, we're fully aware. Like, I just had my birthday, and you'll see on social media, the kids will give me cards saying ADHD dad, and they take the piss. And it's really funny. We have such an open conversation around this at home. And like, I came home from work yesterday really flat and overstimulated and exhausted. Not because I've been working hard by any stretch of the imagination, but just more, just, like when just the lights of the train or the busyness of the smells, just I feel completely exhausted. I needed half an hour in a dark room, and the kids just understand that, and they're now starting to understand what they need. So my daughter Chloe, she's worked out she needs a giant fan blowing all year round to help her get to sleep, because that white noise. And so we just explore it curiously, and everyone's figuring out how to decompress and be able to communicate. Actually, that triggers me. Or do you know what? I just need to go and have some time on my own just to reset. So I just love and they're teaching me stuff now. It's great. Self-awareness is the key bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're right. Because it is. It's just those simple little things, just know yourself and what you need to do to be okay.
Yeah.
Like you just said, I struggled for such a long time with being, I don't know, overstimulated, just through certain noises and things like that were just getting me so agitated, and just really fueling this kind of fire in my head. And I just couldn't cope with it. I couldn't concentrate, and it used to rile me up so much. I didn't know why. I had no understanding of what's going on, because that's not me. I internalize everything. That's my life. It's been all internal. I'm predominantly inattentive, and so everything was so internal, but I couldn't keep it in. Just no understanding, and that's why I joined on the journey, and I got diagnosed, and I was doing the research, and I was like, yeah, I'm actually overstimulated. So what I need to do now is just come away from this stimulation and to be okay. So now I go everywhere with my headphones, at home, says headphones on, just to keep that noise away and that stimulation away, to keep myself at a nice sort of calm level.
Yeah.
They come off, when I don't need them, they go on when I need them, and it's no problem. Everyone knows. That's just knowing who I am. That's knowing what I can cope with and what I can't cope with.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that self-awareness, as you say.
Yeah.
Okay, so Neurocandy.
Yeah.
Tell me about Neurocandy.
So being a natural, I think salesperson, when I was 8, I was selling raffle tickets for my dad's theatre company, and selling double glazing as a teenager, and selling jewelry when I was in early 20s. It's like, I can sell stuff. It seems to be in my nature to be able to, convince, persuade, whatever it might be. I love the concept of winning people's trust first and foremost, and then helping them explore what to buy or to engage with. It's an exciting arm of my personality. So I started helping a friend out who's got a toy business, and he had fidget cubes, the spinning fidget cubes, and I started to open doors for him. Then I thought, why don't I sell some of these on Etsy? I'm always like, why don't I? We always do that, don't we? And then I realized, I use fidget toys all the time, and I use sensory toys and gadgets all the time to be able to regulate. I have them at work, have them in my bag, have them in my pocket, to squish or to spin, magnets, things that click, haptic, that sort of stuff. And so, but I noticed a stark amount of adults not using them for fear of looking childish, or a lot of them are all in bright colours, or, are marketed to kids. And it's like, whilst that's important, adults use fidgets. Loads of adults use fidgets and sensory toys. And so there's executive stuff coming out now. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going in on this. So I, founded Neurocandy.com. That is, my site. I run it with my wife now. We have loads of different types of fidgets, whether you like to use squishies or, click things or spin things or have a sensory input like spiky stuff. There's loads to explore on there, and we sell it all from the UK. There's no like long waiting times or drop shipping. It's all done from our base here in England, and I love the idea of this being commonplace in offices, boardrooms, schools, but the teachers as well. Why doesn't a teacher pace up and down lecturing with a quiet spinning fidget, as long as it's not distracting? It's like I just want to see it become commonplace. We're all doing it anyway. We're all spinning pens. Newton's cradles have been around forever and a day. Why does a conversation sometimes feel so much easier when we're walking? It's all part of stimming, regulating. Everyone's doing it. You don't have to come to neurocandy.com if you're only if you're neurodiverse. It's for everybody. There is something for everyone. There's no shame in using something to help you get your thoughts together and focus. As long as you're not distracting people around the room. There's stuff a bit quiet time. There's stuff that's for your own damn time, and even noisy as it wants. So have a look, neurocandy.com. Fidgets for everyone.
Yeah, they're great. I didn't understand that when the whole spinners thing came out, and and I had to go, and I don't understand what I'm meant to be getting from this. And this was before the whole ADHD sort of journey. And it wasn't until I work at the moment in a supermarket, and we had these sort of handy little detaggers for these security tags on clothing and all that. And I stand at the checkout, so I've got this in my hand. I'm doing it, and sometimes I used to find that I didn't have one because someone else had it, and it felt weird that I didn't have it, and I felt uneasy that I didn't have it, and I just didn't understand, and I kept on going, and can I have it back, please? Can I have it back, please?
Mm.
And I needed it, and then they all broke, and I'm like, oh, and then I kind of like, I do need something, and I don't know why, I don't know what it is. I need something to do because I feel calmer, I'm more stationary.
Yeah.
And and I ended up going out, got Physic Cube and things like that, but I find Tangles.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your thing. Yeah.
That's Tangles is my thing. So I've got a load of these. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to. I've always on the podcast. I've got one at work. I've got one. I've always got them. And I don't have to look. I just mess with it in my hand.
Keep your hands busy, and then your mind can stay on track on it. I mean, we got stuff that's really exciting ones at the moment, like the slow rising stuff. Like we've got these cubes which you squeeze down as hard as you can, right, and get that sort of nice like feeling. I get it in my gums weirdly, like a satisfying squeeze, and then let it go, and it's like, and it's so good. And then these mech sliders we've got, they're in 4 different colors. Where they're like, I should have had one on hand, but they're so addictive. It makes me want to go and grab one.
I'm gonna go give that a go.
Yeah, okay. You should check it out.
It's nice. I try my son to play with them as well, but he's still very much of a, it's a toy. I need to look at it, and he doesn't want to look because he wants to watch something else instead.
The looking thing's an interesting one. So the whole eye contact stuff, like, so when we used to do bedtime stories every night, it's slightly less now because the kids are a bit older, but it's we used to have a load of quiet fidgets, and they didn't have to stare or look, or they do their own thing, because listening can be passive, can't it? It can be not looking. And how many times has an ADHD kid been struck by the teacher with a line out of the blue like, what was I just saying? And then they're so surprised when the kid repeats everything verbatim back to them. Like, I was listening, mate, just wasn't staring at you like a creep. And it's like, just let people do their own listening. Passive listening looks different to everyone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what's your main goal now? So you got the Neurocandy, so you've got the music, which is great. So what are you heading for now? Anything new for you?
I think, it's always like, I never answered that question. What do you want to do in 5-10 years? I've had goals in recent years because I quite enjoy them, but I've really surprised myself with the success I have in my career, and because the surprise comes from the years of negative comments, obviously. And that's been a drive for me. So I did a post this week about the duality of high performance and high anxiety, and how actually I don't want to get rid of it all now. I've been trying to get rid of anxiety forever. I actually know there's a way to harness it. So I think I go sort of year by year, different things. Neurocandy wasn't a goal. I just did it and see where it went. The music's always been a passion for me. I've always been writing and playing, and it's a hobby that I've gone deep in. I've now learned a bit of amateur music production from it. I love, just learning new bits like that. So really the goal is I want to grow Neurocandy. I want that to be, I want Neurocandy to basically normalize anyone of any age using fidget toys to help regulate stim, focus, whatever it may be. I want that to be a home. I also put all my social media content on there, so you don't come to just buy a fidget. You come to hear about what it's like having ADHD and having a career, or sensory processing disorder, or traveling on holiday, and what the toll that can take. Even though it's a luxury and a first world thing, it's like what why don't we just be real and say actually some of these things are impossible for folks like us. So I just try and be real. There's no false hope in my content. It's all very short snippet stuff. I'm also, a bit of a micro influencer across Instagram and TikTok. You'll find me on there, usually some sort of Jack.Neurocandy, or just look for Neurocandy, YouTube as well. And the music, yeah, I've done the distro kid thing, classic thing, got on Spotify. I love my chants, but also, as you pointed out at the beginning, like that singer-songwriter stuff. So basically what my goal is to let, to understand what makes me happy, what makes me tick, and what's good for others as well, and to really go deep on it and not let others comments or perceived negativity out there stop that. Like I've hit 42. I'm not slowing down. I want to explore so much more about my gifts and strengths and what I have to offer my family and the world.
That's cool. If your friends aren't there to be by your side and to help you find yourself and be happy, are they actually your friends?
It's a great point. I also heard something really good this week. If the phone doesn't ring when you're in crisis, then don't pick it up when it's going well for you, like during success, because it's like, yeah, your friends in the darkest times.
Yeah. My circle of friends are me, my wife, family. That's it, because I just need to be surrounded by people who get me, who accept me, who will help me, support me.
They'll be
love me for me.
There's good people out there who can do that for you as well, Darren. Like I'm lucky enough to be ambassador for things like This Can Happen, and the Speakers Collective, and Storyboard app. I've met so many people where this is the new normal, and it feels like a nice, safe groundswell of people that we can walk out of our homes and not feel like freaks anymore. And there's still people who just don't know how to communicate with you on it, or a bit weirded out by it, or might judge you harshly. And it's like, actually, I find them the minority now, because I've surrounded myself with people who understand this stuff and are versed in neuro.
I find that the neurodiverse community on here, that people I've spoken to, people been on the podcast and everything, it's so welcoming, so accepting.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's nice. We've all got our own journey. We come on and we talk over each other, and it's fine. We do it, and that's us. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We don't keep still. We look away. We're not always eye to eye kind of thing. And we lose track, and we forget what we're saying. But it automatically is okay. But we feel okay about it as well.
Totally.
I don't feel that I have to keep on saying sorry to you every 5 seconds, because I'm noticing things outside and my head's gone. I've got to try and keep what am I talking about again? It's just, we just crack on with it, and it's so nice to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shouldn't feel nice. It should feel normal, but we're creating that. We're actually creating that new normal, which is wonderful. I agree with you. Like in the early days of doing these talks, I would be worried about all that stuff you just said. Not anymore.
Yeah.
So this is it. We're doing this for our kids, the next generation, and we're probably educating the generation before us on this as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It needs to be talked about. We need to have conversations all the time. We need to keep the conversations going.
100%, mate.
But Jack, mate, it's absolutely been brilliant having you on. It's been really, really good to talk to you.
Likewise.
It's one of those things. I think that every time I get someone on, I find there's so many interesting people out there doing so many different things for different reasons, and the backstories are very different.
Yeah.
And it's it's a joy to have you guys on. It's a joy to have these conversations. I don't like to think of them as interviews. We're just having conversations, just
conversation.
talk about the stuff. Yeah,
that's less threatening, isn't it? And good for you for doing the podcast, Darren. Like, you are creating that new normal. You're helping, your kid. You're helping the future generation. You're helping my kid. You're helping that new normal come in. You're welcoming that new age in. So good for you, mate. Keep it up.
Yeah, I want to. I mean, this is all therapy for me. It started purely as therapy for me, and then I started talking to people. I'm like, this is it. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being my therapist for today.
And likewise, my
friend. Right, guys. Before we go, then, okay, please give us everything you know about your Spotify and your Neurocandy. Tell us all about you, where people can find you and connect.
So I think the best site to find all of my links is bio.site/Neurocandy. That's NEURO Candy. So bio.site/Neurocandy. All my links are there. All my Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube music links are there. But also neurocandy.com for the fidgets and the ADHD content. And the Instagram and TikTok links as well, and LinkedIn. I'm doing a lot in the professional space as well, so do find me on there. I love the comments and conversations we have on there. They're always very real questions. Nothing's out of the blue. I love what I mean by that is don't feel awkward about dropping a comment on there that you might feel like other people would make you feel awkward. I'm trying to create that taboo-less environment where we just go, what about that, what about this? Keep the conversation going. I love it.
Excellent. Of course, I'll add the links to the podcast episode and any of the posts that go out so people can follow your journey and obviously invest in some invaluable fidget toys because they are fabulous. And also listen to some very cool tracks on Spotify.
Yeah, on the music side, last thing I'll say is on the music side, I am an amateur producer, bedroom producer. If folks have got ideas or a way to improve or collaborate, or any especially like trance, EDM, house, DJs, producers, labels, that sort of stuff, love to know your thoughts. Even if you just go, nah, there's shit, mate, you got a lot more work to do. I just want to know if there's collaboration opportunities out there, because music is my therapy and my number one hobby. So love to know people's thoughts.
Awesome. Right then, for now, guys, thank you, Jack, for joining me, firstly. And thank you, everyone, who's going to be listening. But always, be good, be kind, and remember, you're not alone. Thank you.